Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jesus Torres and this is Rational Angles. I want to thank you so much for joining today's discussion. Today I want to talk about the topic of term limits and how people say they don't feel represented by the political establishment on either one of the parties. By now, I'm sure everybody has seen videos on YouTube or TikTok or online and in the news where people talk about how the politicians who are currently in office do not seem to have the same views as the newer generations. One of the reasons they say this is because the politicians who are now in office have been there for years, even decades. They say that people who, once they get in office, politicians, they are there for life. And a lot of people talk about how they are elderly and they don't see the worries or the issues that Gen Z and millennials care about. And when we see these videos, we see a lot of people who say that we should have term limits, but they leave it at that. They just say we should have term limits. And if you think about it, you can't really ask a politician to limit their own power because they're just not going to do it. And another thing is that people just don't feel represented by them because of their loss of touch with the regular electorate. So this reminds me a lot of conversations we hear about. For example, on the Democratic side, we hear a lot about how people support the views of Bernie Sanders and other younger politicians such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They feel that they get what the people actually want and are looking for in a representative in office, but they feel that those politicians are being pushed aside and denied leadership roles by the establishment. And we see this also on the right wing with their politicians. Now, one thing that we have seen a lot, or a topic I've heard a lot lately, has been a topic about the streamer Hassan Piker. I'm not really familiar with his political views. I do know that he's more far left. People always call him a socialist from what I hear. But the videos we're seeing lately about him is because people feel that the political establishment in the Democrat side is kind of trying to silence him, and people are very unhappy about it, and they feel it, flashes back to what they feel has been done to other politicians, like I said, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. So, if people feel this strongly about the politicians in office, I can't help but wonder to myself, then how did these politicians keep getting elected? Because they're getting elected, and they don't seem to be representing people based on what the electorate wants. They seem to be working on a system of seniority rather than what new, fresh ideas people are wanting to see in the representative offices. So, what this makes me think that because we have a two-party political system, even though people get excited about new politicians, they support them during the primaries, but if their politicians don't win during the primaries, then they quickly fall in line and support the politician that the political establishment of their party wants to be the one running in office. And to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you already have a politician that you feel represents you, and you already don't feel the political establishment represents you, yet you're still going to vote for them just because you don't want the other political party to win, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because either way you're not being represented. So I've been thinking to myself, a lot of states, because not all states will allow this, is some states will allow you to write in the name of the candidate you want to vote for. So even though he's not the candidate for the political party, you can vote for that politician. You can write their name, and that way maybe they can win office. Now, realistically, the politician you write in may not win the first time, the second time, or even the third time, and that's something that you would have to be willing to accept. Short-term losses for long-term gains. Why do I say this? Because while it's realistic and more than likely that your politician will not win, it will send a message as more people start seeing that if you write in your politician, then other people will feel encouraged to also support that politician who didn't win the primaries or write in the name of other politicians. And also, the establishment politicians will see that people are willing to go ahead and not vote down party lines. This will encourage politicians to start looking out for the interest of the electorate rather than just hoping they'll vote down party lines. Now, do you know if your state would allow you to write it in the name of a politician? And what do you think about the idea of being willing to lose short term to win long term? Because this is the only way that I see that we can possibly have a de facto term limit, is by being willing to write the name of politicians who you truly feel represent you, rather than voting for the politicians the political establishment wants you to vote for. Let me know what you think. I'd really be interested in hearing your opinions on the topic. Do you agree with me? Do you think my ideas are unlikely to succeed? And I want to thank you for joining today's discussion. Again, my name is Jesus Torres. This is Rational Angles. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It would really help me out. And share the video, like the video. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.